I'm standing here on the east side of Tract 4 at the Fiery Fork Conservation Area. We're in Camden County, Missouri. We're west of Camdenton, east of Climax Springs. We're on the east side of the property, standing about where the easement road will be when it's installed. You can drive right to the property as of right now in a truck or an SUV, but we do not have the easement. We do not have, I should say, the easement road completely installed yet. You can hear the noisy tractor over there doing some brush hogging. But I'm looking to the west. You can see the east part of Tract 4 is open pasture, and then we get into timber as we go to the west. Some nice timber. I'll hop on the four-wheeler and we'll ride over to the timber and we'll have a look. Actually, I'll walk for a moment. As I start to move to the west, you can see the property slopes down. In fact, right here on Tract 4, you can see where he hasn't mowed. That's almost the start of a little ravine or a little hollow or what have you, I guess. And that continues on the property. So you'll have some flat areas, but the majority of Tract 4 is going to be rolling or sloped to some extent. The camera will get a little bumpy here. I'll just keep this rolling and drive over there. I think I'll actually park the four-wheeler right here and we can just go on foot. I'll keep the camera running and you will see what I see. This is my first time on Tract 4. I had seen it from the east side, but I had never been able to walk on the property. And I'm very happy to see quite a bit of mature timber. Just looking at this is spectacular deer hunting property. This area is known for its deer hunting, and just looking at this property, there will be deer all through here, and wild turkey as well. Big oak trees all over the place, marketable oak trees. After Tract 4 has been paid for in full, then you are free to cut and sell the trees if you choose to do so. Some people do that. There's a lot of value in these trees. These are good sized trees. But you do have to have the property paid for in full, which we think is pretty fair. We've got some big red oak and white oak. A lot of different types of trees in here. I can't identify them all. You can see how open this is. I could easily be on the four-wheeler driving right through here. You'll find that when you're looking at properties, if you're ever curious how long it's been since a property's been logged, if you can walk through like this or ride a four-wheeler through and you're not fighting brush and dodging thousands of tiny immature trees, then you're on a property that hasn't been logged in decades. And this property has clearly not been logged, at least in my lifetime, which spans about 40 years. It takes that long, at least, for the mature timber to get big enough to create this shady canopy, which keeps the weeds and the brush from growing. We have properties that were logged heavily 10 and 15 years ago, and they are still much too thick to ever walk through or ride a four-wheeler through. Too much thick brush. So yeah, even at 20 and 25 years, if you're looking at something that was heavily harvested, you are going to have thick, ugly brush. Nothing like this. This is gorgeous. This is what you want to see, if at all possible. The land is definitely rolling back here. I don't see very many areas at all that are completely flat. Although I do see the timber. Good timber back here. And it looks like as I continue to go west, it looks like it drops down a little more. So you'll have some interesting building sites. If you're looking for a piece that's entirely flat, you probably do not want to look too much at Tract 4, because this has a lot of contour to it. We've built a few little cabins over the years, and we tend to look for properties just like this, because you can look at these little interesting areas with a little tilt to them, and you can build a small cabin or small home on those, and you have a really interesting site. You may not have a huge flat yard, but you have just a cool, interesting site. And if you build in this mature timber, you won't have to worry too much about maintaining a yard, because the mature trees keep it fairly shady in here, so you don't have a lot of growth of brush or grass, as you can see. If we were to continue walking west, which I won't, I'll stop about here. If we were to continue walking west, we would get to the Fiery Fork Conservation Area. Tract 4 directly borders that on its west side, and that is about 1,600 acres of conservation area, which you can use for hunting. There are campsites, there are trails, and there are 1 or 2 access points to the Little Niagara River as well. So you can set up your camp or your home or your cabin on Tract 4, and you can walk directly onto that 1,600 acre tract of land, which is a pretty unusual and pretty awesome situation. Full use of all that land that someone else gets to look after, someone else gets to pay any taxes and expenses on, and you get to use it just as a proud citizen of the United States. Great property. I'll cut this off here. It continues to slope down. There could potentially, there definitely would be water in there in the bottom of that little ravine after a rainstorm. It's completely dry right now. We could run into some springs, possibly, if we went further back on Tract 4. So feel free to explore that. Bring your four-wheeler and bring a pair of boots or good tennis shoes, and come check this one out. This is a nice property. Really an interesting one. It's great to see some of these rock formations You don't see that on every tract. So you add the mature timber, direct frontage on the Fiery Fork. Really interesting property. Tract 4 at the Fiery Fork Conservation Area in Camden County, Missouri.